Hey everyone, welcome back to Code Grasper. Today we are diving into a very common question in Spring Boot. Should we use application.properties or application.yml for configuration? We will break it down with real examples like the pros and cons and helps you to decide what's the best for your next project. So let's get started. So first we will see what are they. Like we need to understand we have two different files for the config for giving the properties, that is application.properties file and application.yaml file, both which lies inside our resource folder. So resource folder lies inside the src main. Inside of the main we have two different folders, that is Java and resources. So here inside of the resource folder, when we create the application by using a Spring initializer, we will get this application.properties file, right? So if you want to create like application.yaml file, you just right click on the resource folder and just we need to select file. Okay, so here we can get application.yml. Okay, so this is the application.yml file. So here these are the two different files which we commonly use to configure our properties. So yeah, both files serves the same purpose, but configuring the behavior of your Spring project, like the style will may differ in these two files. Okay, so in application.property files we will give it as a dot separated. For example, if you see here server.port, we gave server.port equal to 1990, but in the application.yaml file we will give like server. So here we will use indents. Okay, so indents are very much important here. Here you will give, if you want to give the port number 1990. Okay, so this is how you need to specify any properties. One more thing, so let's see like the pros and cons of this application.properties and application.yaml file. First of all, let's start with the property file. So in this properties file, it is very easy for small projects. So we can, for if you have any developing any working on small projects, we can use application.property file. And familiar like it gives the familiar format for the Java developers. And for if it is a large application, the like the properties should be very messy. Why? Because let's say if you have any long keys there, like aws dot some db dot internal dot dev dot username. So if you give like this, it should be very messy. And if you want to give one more property, let's say aws dot, again the same thing, like db dot internal dot dev dot password. See, we need to give two times here the same thing we are giving two times. Here we need to specify the username, here we are going to specify in the password, but not like in yml file. So in yml file, if you want to give those things, like you can easily specify aws something db internal. Okay, if you want to specify the username, you can give like this. If you want to specify the password, you can simply in the same indent you can give password like this. So it will be very readable in the yml file. This is one thing which you can find very comfortable rather in property file rather than in the yml file, right? So yeah, these are the two things. And one more thing, it will be very harder to debug in the application.property files, like these things, like the while you are separating with this dot property dot, right, the properties. So it will be very painful to debug in the properties file. Coming to the yml file, so in yml file more structure and readable. You can see the structure is very readable, right? Anyone can easily understood that this is the password of aws db internal and this is the username of aws db internal. So it will be very readable for the developers and great for complex and deeply nested configuration. Why? Because if you have nested props also, we can easily simplify by this structure itself. So it gives you a great it simplifies the complex properties by using this structure. And one more thing, like it will give it which also have some cons, that is sensitive to indentation. Like if you if you are not following the indentation correctly, it won't affect the properties, won't affect. It means if you give like this, it won't take instead of the AWS, it won't take the DB. So you should make the you should maintain the proper indentation in the YML files. That is the one thing we need to maintain in YML files. And one more thing, like if you are dealing in summary, if you are dealing with deeply nested configurations like security or Kafka or microservices, YAML is more readable. But for quicker setups and debugging, the properties file is very easier, right? Yeah. And also we can let's say we have the question like, can we use the both in same, like I have given the YAML file and the properties file. Yes, we can use the both, but still it is not a correct approach, it's not a standard. You should use any one of these in these two. Either we should go for the properties files or you should go for the YAML files. If your application is big and complex, you should go for the YAML files. Or if your application is very short and it's very in-house product, then you can go for the properties file. These are the major differences between the like the properties file and the YAML file. Apart from that, both can serve the same purpose for the application. Yeah, hoping this like clears your confusion between these application.properties and YAML files. So if you have any doubts, let me know in your comments. And if you like this video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. Until then, grasp the code with Code Grasper. Thank you.